Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about dealership service departments because, well, right now, they're actually doing really well. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So Cox Automotive released a report on dealership service department revenue, and the big thing about this report is that they are saying that we're at an all-time high in terms of dealership service department revenue. Like, they're absolutely killing it, and it's not for the reasons that you would think. So the overall volume of repair jobs that's happening at dealerships is not at an all-time high. I mean, you look at the graph and there are some ups and downs, and right now we have a little bit of an up trend, but it's not massive. It's within, normal amounts. So about the same amount of people are getting their cars repaired today as they were yesterday. But revenue is at an all-time high. I mean, you look at the graph for revenue and it's pretty much just straight up. And that's because dealerships are charging more for their services. That's where this extra revenue is coming from. The average amount paid on a per service basis has consistently increased over the course of the last 2 years, especially over the course of the last 12 months. And if you have recently gotten your car serviced at a dealership, then you've certainly experienced this, where you go in and you're like, hey, I'm getting an oil change or whatever, and you're like, wait, why is this twice as expensive in some cases? Like, it's pretty crazy, some of the price increases that dealers have rolled out, and I will talk about that towards the end of the video. But the current trend is that this is just going to basically continue to happen over time. Now, it looks like the overall amount of revenue is not necessarily going to keep increasing, but it doesn't look like it's going to go down anytime soon. Like, it looks like we're pretty much at an all-time high, and it's just pretty much going to continue like that because dealerships have no intention of lowering their hourly rate with different services. However, something that I do need to mention is that this increase in service revenue is not just from the increase in the hourly rate that dealerships charge their customers. It's also because, well, parts have become more expensive. And so even if a part that a dealer puts into your car has the same percentage of markup that it's always had, if the part costs more, then, well, that percentage markup, right, ultimately is going to lead to more revenue for the dealership. So let's, just hypothetical situation here. Say that you purchase a part from a dealership that costs $100 and the dealership has a 5% markup on that part. So they're making $5. But let's say that now the part costs $200 and they still have a 5% markup in that part. Now they're making $10, right, off of the same part. And so you can extrapolate this through all of the different parts and pieces that dealers are, selling to customers or using to service customers' cars on a daily basis. And you can see that that also adds up to helping out with increasing overall dealership revenue. And so now I want to kind of dive into why dealers are doing this and where I see this going. So I've talked to a bunch of dealers actually about the whole service department situation because I feel like not enough people cover this. And here's what dealers have told me. So the first thing that they've said is that they've had to increase the hourly rate that they charge on fixing vehicles because, well, again, everything is just more expensive. And the biggest expense is the people. Mechanics expect to get paid more today than what they expected a year, 2, 3 years ago. And so since they have to pay the staff more, right, they're going to have to charge the customers more money. And again, the overall just overhead costs are more associated with running a service department. So that's also playing into this whole situation. And speaking of mechanics, well, dealerships have to pay mechanics a pretty big premium in today's world because there's a shortage of mechanics. There's not enough people going out and getting certified, and there's just not enough people that are wanting to do the work, which is pretty surprising because it's a job where you can actually make like a lot of money and you don't have to be in tens of thousands of dollars of debt like you would if you went and got a degree at college. But I'm diving a little bit too much into the weeds. Regardless, there's a shortage, and so dealers already have to pay them more because, wages across the board have increased. But then also, when there's a shortage, right, they've got bargaining power, so they expect to get paid more. So again, that hourly rate is going to go up. And, from all the conversations I've had, it looks like this is, again, something that is just going to continue to happen. And as time goes on, it seems like dealers are struggling more and more to find, enough mechanics in the back. And so that's probably going to, just cause like a positive feedback loop situation where you're going to have, the people that do have the skill set just kind of jump from dealership to dealership and continue to ask for more and more money, which is going to continue to push the rates up. And so I guess if you want to meaningfully help out with preventing these rates from continuing to go up, then go get certified, right? Become a mechanic and go work at a dealership that needs a mechanic, and then boom, that'll help stabilize the whole situation. I'm joking, only half joking, but overall, it'll be interesting to see how this, progresses as time goes on. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this situation. Like, what do you think about dealership service costs? Do you think that they're just too expensive? Is it getting to the point where you're not willing to go and service your car at a dealership anymore? And, you're going to third-party shops, or maybe you're working on your car yourself. And then there's one more thing that I quickly want to mention before we fully cap things off with today's video, and that is the importance of this increase in service revenue. So it's going to vary dealership to dealership based on their location and their sales volume, so on and so forth. But for most dealerships, their service departments make the bulk of the revenue for the dealership. It's very consistent business, and it's a very profitable business as well. And so the fact that dealerships are doing so well in the service department sector right now shows the overall health of the dealership world. If dealerships start to see revenues dwindle with service, that's where you know that dealerships are really in trouble. It's actually not on the sales side of things. So this is more, of an anecdote, but when I talk to most dealers about, their revenue structure and everything, what they tell me is that typically the service department pays for all of the bills, and that includes like all of the salaries that are paid out with sales, service, everything. So like the service department revenue literally pays for everything. So all of the revenue that most dealerships earn from actually selling cars is pure profit for the dealership, because again, the service department makes so much money that everything else is just extra on top of that. And so this, again, it just shows how important this is for dealers, and it's really like the backbone for dealerships, right? It's just the thing that keeps them going. But anyways, that'll sum things up. Let me know what you guys think about the situation. I'll see you.